In this video, we're going to talk about function notation and what that actually means. You were probably introduced to it last year, so hopefully this is just a refresher. Now, when we talk about equations, a lot of times you will see it in this kind of format, like y is equal to 3x plus 4. Now, when we talk function notation, it's kind of the same thing, but just written slightly different. Instead of y, we use this term f of x. We still have 3x plus 4. Now, the purpose of that is a bunch of different reasons. In this format, it kind of makes it nice to see like there's a clear input value and a clear output. So this term, the inside part, that's known as the input. Okay. Again, this is pronounced f of x. What that means is that whatever you see on the other side of the equal sign should have x's in it, which it does. We have a 3x on the other side. The f, that just refers to the name of the function. Okay. The other side is referred to as the output. So this piece here is the output. Okay. Sometimes teachers refer to this functions as like a kind of like a function machine, where there's an input and output. Whatever you're plugging in, you should see in the output, right? Right now we're plugging in x, so we should see x's in the output. Now the advantage to this is we can use what's called function tables, which is very helpful, especially when we're trying to like start to graph things. So let's stay with this function, the f function, and let's say we wanted to fill out a function table for it. So let's go ahead and set it up. It's going to be a t table. So f of x on one side, and then we'll write 3x plus 4 on the other side. Okay, and basically we want to know like what happens if we plug in certain numbers. So for example, if I wanted to plug in, the easiest number to plug in would be 0, right? Because 0 makes things kind of disappear, right? So essentially what's happening is we're saying wherever there's wherever there was an x, you're going to replace it with a 0. And sometimes I'll refer to it as this. They want to know what is f of 0. Okay, so over here you'd plug in 0 wherever you see x. So 3 parentheses 0 plus 4. And you can do some quick mental math. This one's not too bad. 3 times 0 is 0, and then 0 plus 4 is 4. Okay? So we plugged in 0, out came 4. That's the idea of input versus output. Okay? And since it's a table, we can plug in more values, right? So what if I want to know what is f of 1? So same thing. You would plug in 3 parentheses 1 plus 4. Okay? 3 times 1, let's do some quick mental math, is 3. And then 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. Now, if you need to, if you're struggling with the mental math part, don't be afraid to go off to the side and do the work, and then just bring your answer back here. Let's keep going. Let's do f of 2 and f of 3. Okay, so 3 times 2 plus 4. Again, if you need to do it off the side, you can go over here. 3 times 2 plus 4. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 4 gives us 10. Okay, so don't be afraid to go off to the side and do the work there. Just make sure you bring it back to the table. And last one, let's go ahead and do f of 3. Let's plug in 3. Okay, so again, we can go off to the side if we need to. 3 times 3 is 9. And 9 plus 4 gives us 13. Okay, so that's what I mean by a function table. It's a bunch of values, a bunch of inputs, and I want to see what the output value is. Now, you may have noticed also in this question, there's a pattern in our answers. If you notice that we went from 4 to 7 to 3 to 10, okay, those are increasing by the same amount each time. That's because this is a linear function. Linear meaning if you were to graph it, it would be a straight line. Okay, but to also point out that the inputs are also in order, right? It's going 0, 1, 2, 3. So as long as the inputs are going in order, you'll probably see a pattern. Okay. All right, let's try one more together. Okay, and let's say the directions for this one are complete the function table for g of x. Again, remember the function just has a name, right? So instead of the f function, we're going to use the g function this time. Same idea. You can use h function, I function, whatever letter you want, right? It's not important. Typically, f of x is the most common, all right? So, and I'll go ahead and set up the table for you. So g of x, and let's say g of x is equal to negative 2x plus 3. And this time, the inputs that I want to know are negative 2, 0, 3, and 6. All right. Something to point out is that this time the input values are not in order, right? It's going negative 2 to 0 to 3 to 6. That's not in any particular order. So you're probably not going to see a pattern in the outputs. Okay. If I would have gone 1, 2, 3, 4, then yes, you would have seen a pattern. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through these. So again, remember this is the input. So wherever you see an x, you're going to replace with that input value. So negative 2, parentheses, let's plug in negative 2. All right, you can do some mental math, or if you need to off to the side, you can go ahead and do it. Negative 2 times negative 2 gives you 4, and then 4 plus 3 gives you 7. Okay, next one. Negative 2, let's plug in 0. Oops. Plus 3. Okay, negative 2 times 0, 0. And then 0 plus 3 gives you 3. Okay, and again, because the input values are not in order, we're not going to see a pattern like we did in the last question. All right. Okay, so the third one, negative 2 times, and now we're going to plug in 3. Okay, so this is mental math. Negative 2 times 3 gives you negative 6. Negative 6 plus 3 gives you negative 3. And last one, let's plug in 6. Okay, so negative 2 times 6 gives you negative 12. And negative 12 plus 3 gives you negative 9. And again, don't be afraid if you need to, off to the side, do it in steps. Okay, so negative 2 times 6 plus 3. Negative 2 times 6 gives you negative 12. And then negative 12 plus 3 gives you negative 9. Okay, so don't be afraid to do that if you need to. Not a big deal. All right, so that's how a function table works. It's the idea of taking a value and plugging it in, and the table shows multiple values. Okay, all right, the one I would like you to try on your own. Let me scroll down a bit. I would like you to complete the following table for h of x. Okay, so complete. And then let's say h of x. And let's say it's equal to 4x minus 5. And the inputs that I want to know are 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now notice again, this one, those inputs are in order, so you probably will see a pattern. Okay, go ahead and pause the video at this point. Try it out, and then when you're ready, go ahead and press play again to check your answer.